Hey, what's up, y'all? Basically, I'm making this video to basically give my thoughts on this whole, I guess, issue that's out there. This argument that white privilege either exists or it doesn't exist, and it's weird as a black guy, I guess, to say that I kind of agree on both. I'm basically on the fence with it. There's a couple of reasons why I'm on the fence about it. White privilege, in a sense, does actually exist in its entirety. I feel like it exists in the fact that white people will probably get the benefit of the doubt. And this is the United States mainly. That white people will get the benefit of the doubt in certain situations that black people won't. For example, whenever they use the analogy of walking down the street and seeing a certain figure walking towards you, do you feel intimidated or do you feel threatened? And majority of the time, it's always placed in not only the person's mind, but even in the analogy itself, a black person, right? Because I guess that's, to society, is the most menacing figure that they can think of. There's nothing more menacing than a black guy walking towards you, which is completely absurd, right? And you can never really use a white guy in that reference because they painted in your mind that, oh, white guys aren't menacing, but take me and put me in the middle of Alabama and probably the most rural parts of the state, and I'm walking down the street and there's a white guy walking towards me. In my head, I'm thinking like, I know where I'm at, so this may not end too well. So in that case, it kind of is null and void. Depends on where you're at. You know what I mean? What the people in that area beliefs may be. You never know. But that's my stance on why it does exist. Oh, well, and to add to the circumstances that when they did I think it was I don't know whether it was a prank or just a experimental video to see who would react when they had basically a white guy stealing a bike that was chained up and versus a black guy stealing the same exact bike. You saw as the white guy was trying to steal the bike, and it was very obvious he was stealing the bike, that a lot of people just walked by and just didn't say anything. They probably looked, may have, and just kept moving. They gave him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe, oh, I thought maybe he lost his key and he was just not even knowing the situation. They automatically jumped to that conclusion. But as soon as the black guy was even suspected of any, aggressive movement towards the bike, there was a cop there within a couple minutes. People were approaching him, confronting him, saying, "Hey, what are you doing?" Yada yada yada, right? And it was just an experiment. Nobody was actually stealing anything, but it just goes to show people's perceptions and reactions to certain things. White privilege. Let me add another one on that. I'm gonna speak on the fact that minorities or black people, one and the same sometimes, that the reason why they don't hold certain positions in corporate America or wherever it may be is that not only America does this, it's actually funny because America is probably the most likely. Okay, it gives you, all right, let me give you an example. My family is from Haiti, right? And classism is a big thing over there, and I feel like it's that way in a lot of other countries. You know what I mean? Classism exists basically all around the world, and I feel like personally that the United States has it the least evident. And the reason why I say that is that when they say this is the land of opportunity is because there's a lot of people from different walks of life can infiltrate the system and infiltrate the corporate ladder and somehow make it up there. You know what I mean? For example, you see Obama came from nowhere and became president. You know what I mean? There's probably a lot of different reasons why he's up there anyway. People talking about he got paid, or not paid, but, corporate entities backing him up just to get him to the top, yada, yada, yada. But in certain countries, such as Haiti, if you're not connected with so-and-so's name, if you're not a part of this family, trust me, it's basically, and when I say higher percentage, I mean 80-90% chance that if you start at the bottom, you're staying at the bottom. Here, you have chances of starting at the bottom and making it to the top. You know what I mean? Maybe not the top, you know, the crust of the pyramid, but you'll be up there. Your class rank can actually, you know, raise a lot quicker here than anywhere else. That's where I guess I negate a little bit of the white privilege. But to add to that, though, you have to understand the concept that, like America and any other country, in order to get most positions in life, you know what I mean, CEOs, CFOs, president, whatever, you have to know somebody. That's what it is at the end of the day. You can't just, you know, make it to the top. Not making no connections, not no networking, none of that. It's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? You have to make friends with the right people. That's basically what it is. So, in that situation, you gotta understand the upper 1%. If you look at the percentage of upper 1%, majority of the people that reside in that little bracket are white, right? Meaning that they either run companies or they own companies, right? Or they just run industries in a whole, right? So if they run these certain top producing companies and it's like a trickle down effect, right? The guy right under them, right? Or maybe even under that guy is most likely going to be somebody that they know, that they feel comfortable with, that they have some kind of rapport with, right? And if you think about that, you think about their associates, the people that they associate with. And it's most likely going to be people of their own kind. And it's not to say that's racist or anything like that. It's just like, if it's like a black guy who hangs around other black guys. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just he feels more comfortable. You know, he can relate to them. It makes sense, right? And when it's like that, if you put in front of me my friend, right, who just so happens to share the same, you know, ethnicity as me, and then you put some random guy who's of an opposite ethnicity, and I have to give either one or two of them the job, I'm probably gonna most likely, and this is just being real, I'm probably gonna give it to the person that that I trust and I know. You know, even though qualifications may show that he may be a little bit more qualified, but I'm gonna sacrifice that little bit more qualification to keep it in within my little circle. So that goes to I guess, you know, point out the fact that majority of the people who are at the top are white. So the jobs, the people who are getting the jobs right below them, the CFOs, the CEOs, and, you know, what have you, are probably going to be of the same ethnicity. You know what I mean? There are some rare cases where a black guy, a Spanish guy, Asian guy, whoever, will infiltrate the system, become friends with the right people, and end up holding those positions, right? But at the end of the day, it goes down to who you know. And this is number one rule that I always learned in business school. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And it's a little bit discouraging to some people. You know what I mean? Like, for example, me a while back, I had a little social issues. I didn't like, you know, conversating with certain people because I just felt like I was in a little bubble, and I only like these type of people, these my peoples, and blah, blah, blah. I don't care about that no more. It's about making the right connections and making friends with the right people. You know what I mean? And it's not being fake friends. It means genuinely finding people that share the same qualities and characteristics and likes that you do, you know? And if it just so happens that they're of a different race, then hey, go for it. You know what I mean? Don't stay within your bubble and say, nah, I'm not going to deal with this person because he's white or Spanish or whatever. I'm just going to stick to... That's ignorant. You know what I mean? You're really not going to get nowhere like that. And as you can see, black people, or maybe, you know, just not broadening your horizons can kind of limit you. Whether it's white, black, Spanish, it doesn't matter what you are. It will always limit you. You know? So, I know I was kind of all over the place with that, but to argue the fact that it does exist is that white people will get the benefit of the doubt over other minorities in majority of circumstances. And I feel like it doesn't exist in the sense that if you do make the right connections, whichever race that you are, you can make it somewhere. You know what I mean? That will most likely not... Like, if I'm really good friends, and I'm black, right? If I'm really good friends with the president of a company, and I just got my MBA or my DBA, whatever it is, you really think he's not gonna give me the job because, oh wait, John's my boy, you know, we cool, but he's black, so I'm not gonna. Yeah, maybe if I'm competing against another dude that's just as good as a friend of his and he's probably white, possibly. But if that's not the case, if I'm really good friends with him and he, you know, we hang out, he trusts me, like, more than likely he'll probably do it, you know. But then there's also that incident of you know, I guess PC and not PC would probably be the wrong word, but you know, basically public relation in the sense that putting a black guy in a certain position might do some kind of harm to your business, which in some cases, you know, oddly enough, and you know, this you know, as horrible as that is, that's possibly the case. If he has to juggle that, then there's that issue. But if there's none of those factors that come into play, then you know, you gotta argue against the fact that maybe white privilege isn't, you know, as horrible as we think it is. Because you gotta understand, black people, we have, now I'm not speaking for all black people, a lot of black people, we're always taught that white people are always coming after us, right? Since a little kid, especially me as a boy, you know what I mean, as a little boy, I was always told that, Jonathan, you're going to grow up to be a black man, and that's basically a strike against you. You know what I mean? Automatically, you're a target. And I was like, damn, I didn't even do nothing yet. I'm a little kid, I ain't even doing nothing, just being bad as usual as any other kid would. But they said, you basically have to go the extra mile in order not to get in trouble versus other people because you're black, right? And that kind of discourages us to even associate with other races because, or white people in general, is because we feel like they're our enemies in a sense, right? And I had to go through a lot of experiences in life to realize, like, you know, that's not the actual case. You know what I mean? It's just, it's, especially in this day and age, 2014, it's fading a lot more. You see a lot of, and not, when I say interracial, I don't mean couples, but interracial friendships. You know, like, you'll see a black guy and a white guy just hanging out, you know, just kicking it, and they're really cool. You even see best friends that are black and white, and I really love to see that because that means that they overcame the adversity that maybe the older generation put onto them. Because I'm pretty sure the same conversations that we have in our household from our parents, that they're having it from their parents, that their parents will probably point out, you know, these certain type of people, that yada 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 yada. And I feel like that happens in maybe every household, you know, every type of race. You know, there's certain, you know, discriminations, some negative, some positive, that are fed onto children, that when they grow up, that's basically what they grew up knowing. It's ingrained in their system, so that's what they think. So that means when you see those interracial friendships and those couples or whatever, it means that they overcame those situations, because in a lot of households it does happen. I'm not saying all, but some do, you know, and I've seen it firsthand. And yeah, so that's basically my stance on the issue of whole white privilege. I'm not really here to to highlight the issue, to stir the pot, to make it a bigger issue. Me myself personally, I like to stay within the realm of a God, like I'm God's child. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like everybody is. So whether you're white, black, yellow, blue, green, it doesn't matter. I feel like at the end of the day that if I love you and you love me as a person, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit here and try to kiss your, you know, ass if I feel like you hate my type of people. If that's the case, I'll just keep it moving. There are some white people or other races that don't have problem with black people, and you know, those are the type of people I like to associate with. And however long it takes me to get to where I want to be in life, going through those type of avenues, then so be it. But I'm not the type of dude to sit there and you know, be phony and just be like, oh, I know this guy hates black people, but I'm gonna kiss his ass just so I can get this position. It's like, I'd rather not. And plus, I'm the type of dude, I'm more independent minded, so I feel like I will probably end up owning my own business in which I call the shots, and I'm not gonna have to, you know. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that's my position on the situation. I'm in the middle, and yeah, so that's how I feel. So if you guys want to, like, you know, pitch in with your opinions and what you think, and not, but this conversation is not to arise any anger or frustration, and I don't want to hear anything negative or, you know, like, this is not what this is for. This is just to, what do you think? You know what I mean? Intellectual, you know, thoughts, and none of that, like, ignorant, one-sided, non, you know, opening your mind type opinions. That's not what this is for. This is just what is your stance and opinion on the subject, and yeah, y'all let me know.